Fear stops us from achieving our true greatness. Are you a professional woman who is feeling stuck, unmotivated, or burned out? Are you worried about your wellness? Are you letting fear stop you from crushing your goals? If you answered yes to any or all of these, then this is the podcast for you. Dr. Charmaine Gregory, night shift emergency physician, burnout thriver, and wellness champion, along with everyday heroes just like you, will explore how to face fear in our lives and emerge victoriously.
Oh my goodness. Hello, Fearless Freedom Tribe. I am super stoked to be here. I am going to ignore the fact that I am a warm weather girl born on an island and it is currently snowing outside my window as I look up outside the basement window from the studio and I see the snowflakes falling and hitting the ground. But you know what? I'm bulletproof today. Why? Why am I bulletproof today? Because cue the music. Drum roll, please. Okay, tapping on the laptop roll, please. Today is episode 100. Can you believe that? I'm having to pinch myself. I'm just so excited about that. 100 times we have gathered together to face our fears and emerge victoriously. 100 times you have participated in our awesome Fearless Freedom Tribe. 100 times and 100 opportunities for me to say thank you and express my gratitude essentially to you for joining me in this journey to your greatness. 100 times you contributed to the show and the 17,000 download milestones that we just crushed. And we are coming up on 18,000 downloads. Thank you for your help in making this podcast a huge success. And of course, I am doing my happy dance. Thank you so much for subscribing to the podcast, listening to the podcast, sharing it with a friend or two, and leaving that coveted 5-star rating. Thank you so much for that. In that vein, as you know, I have been announcing, and it is getting closer and closer because we are going to be opening the swag shop in 2021. And we are currently still taking ideas from you about what you would like to see in a swag shop. So far, we have some really neat things. People have suggested blue blockers, jump drives, earphones, masks, stickers, and water bottles. So thank you for all those great ideas. And my trusted assistant is working diligently to try to get these things together so that we can launch the swag shop come 2021. Now, there is not a week that goes by that I am not super proud and super excited to talk to you about the podcast from the Podcasting Launch course. They are out there, you all, and they are fire, pure fire. Check out these 3 shows because they are amazing. Show them some love by subscribing, leaving a 5-star rating, sharing, and leaving a positive comment. So Pivot and Bloom by Dr. Mila, she brings the fire and she talks about how you can pivot and bloom. You can change, flourish, repeat. Change, flourish, repeat. Amazing. Must listen, should be in your queue, should be part of your personal development because it is pure fire. Then Patty Perez brings it with the Drama-Free Workplace. She teaches us how we can actually exist in those complicated relationships, have those difficult conversations, and have a drama-free workplace and a drama-free life. Pure fire. Then we have Living at Your Finest. And Living at Your Finest, Dr. Babs brings the heat as she talks about personal development. She talks about faith. She talks about fun. And she talks about health. She brings it, and you're ready. You're absolutely ready. And I have been so blown away by the amazing podcasts that have come out of this course. And these are 3 of the most prolific that have already been released. And I am super excited because I know of 2 others that are on the cusp of being launched. And I cannot wait to start sharing those with you. Now, if you've been listening and you have a little bit of FOMO, you're like, oh my, I've been wanting to start a podcast, but I just don't know. Is this a good time? Yes, this is a good time. This is the perfect time to start your show. So if you're interested in jumping in on the podcasting launch course, then there is good news. Jump onto the waiting list and you will immediately be channeled into the rolling admission that we currently have. So we're super excited that you don't have to wait 6 weeks anymore. You can jump in and get started and get on the way to getting your voice being heard by your tribe. So that you can accomplish by going to bit.ly/P as in Paul, L as in Larry, C as in car, waitlist, waitlist. So go ahead, go over, sign up for it now so that you can get into the rolling admissions for the course and you can have your podcast done by the end of the year and blow it up in 2021 by being in the air, being that voice of expertise in the ears of your tribe. Now, maybe you're saying, oh my gosh, I'm too busy. I'm too busy to participate in a course. I don't want to be in a course, but I still want to get my show started. Well, then the podcast in a box is probably for you. It might be a good match for you. In this particular service, what we do is you provide the audio and you provide the input on the creation of your logo, the creation of your show art, the creation of your show notes, and we do the rest. We edit, we produce, we create for you, and you sit back and just watch your baby come out into the world and be awesome. That you can access at bit.ly/D as in dog, F as in fish, Y as in yes, podcast, podcast. So what are you waiting for? Get off the fear fence today because your tribe is waiting for your voice. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So now we are to that point where, we're going to start the show. And this one is going to be a good one, as they all are. But this one is extra special because this is a show where 2 physicians, 2 colleagues of mine, emergency medicine, who are currently working and living in Abu Dhabi, are sharing how they're making an impact, how they're looking to pay it forward to help teenagers rise and be amazing by getting into competitive colleges and universities to be able to create a future of their design. So check it out because we will be touching on quite a few fears and I'm sure that you're going to get a lot of nuggets from it. So once again, thanks for tuning in and I will talk to you on the other side. Hello, Fearless Freedom family. Dr. G is here again. This week, oh my goodness, we have 2 amazing female physicians all the way from the UAE. What's that? The United Arab Emirates. Okay. And so they are going to talk to you about who they are and what they're up to. Dr. McCray and Dr. Khogali, do you want to take it from there?
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Charmaine. I am Dr. Neda Khogali. I grew up most of my life in the States and ended up going to medical school and doing residency in Michigan. And through my journey in Michigan, or after my journey in Michigan, I jumped at the opportunity to move here to the UAE, and I met my business partner, Dr. Monique, here in the UAE, one of my greatest friends and business partner.
And my name is Monique McCray, and I am from the great state of Colorado. I grew up in Colorado after being a military brat for a few years of my life. Went to medical school in Colorado after going to college in North Carolina. And I moved to Washington, D.C. with my husband, where I lived for a number of years before I accepted a position here for as a physician to open a hospital. And this is where I met Nada. And yes, this is where it began.
Wow.
Our journey, yeah.
Wow.
Story of our journey, yeah.
That is awesome. That is so awesome. So you guys obviously don't know this, but Nada and I, our paths crossed in real life, because a lot of people that come on the show, I have never met in person. And, you know, it's always a pleasure when we have someone on the show who I've actually had, you know, like physical contact with and have known in real life. And so Nada was a resident when I first started as an attending at our, you know, at the hospital where she trained, and amazing. I could tell you that she is an incredible lady, and it was such a pleasure just to know her and to see her blossom and to see her get out there and just do some amazing things. So this is kind of like a full circle, you know, heart tug to even have you on the show. And so I am very, very grateful for that. I just wanted to put that out there.
You know, I want to say this, share the same sentiments, Dr. Greger. I remember when you first came and I met you, and I said, oh my gosh, there's somebody that looks like me. And it was just a pull of my heart. And, you know, she graduated from a very, very top tier medical school and residency. So I am proud to know you and proud to call you my friend and my colleague. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. And you know what, Monique? I wanted to say that I was in North Carolina at one point too.
Where in North Carolina?
I was there in the Raleigh-Durham area for residency, and that was in 2002 to 2005. I was
2002 to 2005.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I went to college at Bennett College in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Oh, nice.
That's where,
nice.
Yes. And then I actually ended up back in the Colorado for medical school. But yes, I know you were in New Durham, Chapel Hill area.
Yes.
Yes, yep. I know. I love it down there. It's such a beautiful state.
North Carolina is a nice state. It is really. Yep. And then of course, you know, Michigan has now been home for 15 years. So I have literally spent more time in Michigan than I've spent anywhere else in the world that I've lived, which is a little ironic, but you know, I like it. It's fine. It's
time to move here. Well, it's time to move to warmer weather.
You guys are trying to recruit me to move there. Hey, we'll be thinking about it for sure.
Life is good.
Yes, that's what you say. So, and I believe it because I keep hearing that same sentiment. So it must be true if so many are saying it. So, you know, so you guys got together, you know, because you were in the same place and you have grown a friendship that sounds like it's very strong, and, you know, you've been great supports for each other, you know, during your time in the UAE. So now, you know, curious about how you ended up becoming business partners. Like, how did that come about?
Well, around 2016, Nada and I were actually riding on a tour bus in Singapore. We had gone there for continuing medical education, and we were talking about how we saw our lives currently and the impact that we were making. And we both expressed a desire to have a greater impact on the world. It's amazing being an emergency physician. You have a one-to-one interaction with patients. But the thing is that it really is limited based on your energy, your ability to go in and have those one-to-one interactions and have them effectively every time. And as you get older and you had to have children, it becomes a lot more difficult physically, and we felt that we could use the same energy and make an even bigger impact on the world. So we decided that when we got home from that trip that we were going to start working on finding something that we could do together that would, it sounds cliche, but possibly change the world.
Awesome. And then, so you made it, you had an epiphany on the bus in Singapore, and then you returned home and you said, okay, we're going to do something great. We're going to, affect change on this world. And so what then, what were the next steps? What happened then?
So we started meeting and talking about where we felt the biggest impact could be. And we decided that the biggest impact is if you change youth and you change young people, then you actually have a opportunity to affect future generations. So initially we were thinking about some sort of social media program where kids talked about things with other kids, but actually we know that has already happened multiple times. You have multiple services that do that. And so we started looking more at education. And around this time, Nada's nephew was applying for college, and I had a nephew applying for college, and we noticed some similarities in their experiences. Nada's nephew was coming from an environment where there was plenty, and my nephew was coming from an environment where there was not a whole lot of support, but they were having very similar experiences. So I can speak about my nephew's experience.
Okay.
This was my husband's great nephew. He was in Las Vegas, and he was in high school in Las Vegas. He was an amazing athlete, had lettered in multiple sports, including volleyball and football, and he played basketball. He was also a decent student. He had a GPA of 3.2. Mm-hmm. And he was in his senior year. We were hearing all kinds of things about how he was voted Athlete of the Year. And it was May. And my husband was talking to his mother and told him, he got on the phone, and my husband asked him, so, where are you headed next year? And he said, well, I'm hoping that I can go to Ole Miss. And our response was, it's May, you would know whether or not you're going to Ole Miss. He's like, well, I'm still waiting to see, whether they're going to be interested. Came to find out that literally nobody had really told him how to apply for college, how to get ready for college. He hadn't taken his standardized testing.
Oh my gosh.
He hadn't taken his standardized testing. And he was this jock with a 3.2 GPA and not in college. So my husband and I ended up getting in touch with the counselor there. And basically the story was this. There are 4 of us. We have about 3,000 plus students. We have all the compliance issues that we have to deal with at the school. We do the best we can, but sometimes some kids fall through the cracks, and that's about all we have to offer. And so we decided, we got involved and helped him get into college. Actually, we were able to get him into a HBCU called Tougaloo.
Oh yeah.
But the thing was that this was a kid who could have gotten a full ride someplace. And because his mother was not college educated, she did not know. Nobody actually had said anything to him about how to get into college, and his school basically didn't manage to help him either.
Oh no.
So yeah, I would just reiterate that story with my nephews. He went to a school with resources. However, often, in these places, they have two family home, two parent home. And, my nephew's mom or my sister was a single mother, and she couldn't devote all this time into getting him into college. So he had all these resources, but it wasn't really organized for him whatsoever. And so, we come up with a perfect plan or a guide in order to help not just kids, but also counselors and school systems in order to get the best academic success out of their young adults.
Wow, that is changing the world, guys.
Yeah.
No, that's fantastic. I mean, and so basically that's the best kind of business to start, because you have a business where you saw a pain point, you personally have experienced the pain point, and now you have come up with a solution for it. So that is fantastic. Congratulations.
Yeah. So thank you. It really helps school counselors. It kind of offloads the burden onto them.
Okay.
The kids can do it themselves. They get blogs every single month. So if you're a freshman, it'll welcome you in August, and then it'll send you kind of reminders and blogs every single month on what you need to achieve that month in order to be the most successful high school student and put yourself at a premium in order to get into college.
Fantastic.
So we have that program, and then we have another program that is actually an 8-week define your vision, define your focus kind of program that is really targeted ideally at middle school, late middle school, and early high school students. It helps them to actually see the world and see their futures beyond their current circumstances, and focus and dream what future they want, and so that they can coordinate their choices while they're in high school to take them in the direction of that future. So many kids, especially when you're talking about inner city kids, or if you're talking about the situation that we have right now where kids are out of school, they go to school because they're told that you go to school.
Right.
It is the law, you must be in school. And so when a child suddenly has a world upended where suddenly their focus, the focus that they used to stay in school before, is completely dissolved. They have to have some vision of what they want in life in order to move beyond that. And so that is the other course that we have that we use to teach students, your life is much bigger than this current moment, and you have to keep moving towards that direction. It helps them to choose classes. It helps them to choose extracurricular activities. It helps them to make
choices.
Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly.
Fabulous. Yeah. Vision course. That's awesome. That is awesome. And I mean, getting them in that space, that mind space early, is very important, because that's going to shape, the direction of where they go even beyond, right? So, I mean, it's going to help them to have a vision for the future beyond high school, beyond college, just for life, which is amazing. It's an amazing skill set that you're sharing with them.
It really is. When I think back to my, middle school years, I was kind of just aimlessly going, to school and doing my homework and doing well in my classes just because it was expected of me. And I didn't have really expectations of myself or, who I was. And I think that developed even, late, not even in high school, but maybe even into college. And if we can foster kids to develop who they are, and those skill sets very early, I think it would just it would benefit them and benefit the community at large.
Absolutely. And so now this is a big project, right? Because now you're talking about, you have two arms to the project. You have the vision project, and you also have the project where you're providing content to students on a regular basis as you're guiding them through the entire process from freshman year all the way through graduation. And then you have resources to help counselors at schools. So this is a big project. Now, was there any fear involved in getting started with the project, with the nuts and bolts of how would you even implement something like this? Was there any fear involved with that?
I think that was one of our mainstays. And I think, even through this, fear has been a motivating factor. We wanted to, do this project. We had a passion. We both had a passion for it. But in the beginning, even the technical aspect, how do we do this? That was a big fear. We didn't know how to do things. We didn't know how to start a website. We don't know. We were even at one point going to build the website, or ourselves, but we found that it wasn't use of our time. We don't know. Yeah.
Ooh, outsource.
Monique was passionate. She was very passionate that we were going to do this ourselves, and I wasn't so passionate about that. And I said, let's use our time wisely. And so our fear has been a driving factor, and I think we've embraced the fear and used it as a motivating factor for both of us. What would you say, Monique?
I think also we've had to really stretch. We've had to really stretch ourselves, because after doing medicine, I've been doing medicine like 23 years now, and after doing medicine for that long, I'm so comfortable. I walk into a hospital, I walk in the room, I look at the person, you make the quick assessment, you're like, this is going to take a lot of time, a medium amount of time, no time at all. Often our stethoscopes become more of a prop to show people that we're doing something for them, but there's no thought there's not the same level of thought that there was when we began, because it's like riding a bike. For us, everything was new. And so personally, I remember having some real, had to have some real talks with myself, running into some insecurities about, can I build a website? And I said, I'm going to try. And I made an effort to try to work with WordPress, and it didn't take long, girl. It didn't take long.
Oh my goodness.
But and then the next big part, the whole idea of marketing and figuring out how to do marketing. We've never had to sell anything to anybody, because our people come to us because they need us. And so I don't worry about how many patients come through the door at the hospital. I'm like, if they come, they come. If they don't come, they don't come. But sometimes too many people come.
That's right. That's right.
Where this was a completely different experience. And so Nada and I've had to grow. And one thing, even though there may have been trepidation at the beginning, I have to say I'm so proud of us that we, we'll get together, we'll look at each other, and I can see it in her eyes and my eyes, and we're like, without saying, we're going to do this. We are going to do this. We'll figure it out. And
we're going to figure it out.
Forward.
We're going to, exactly. We said that together. We said, we're going to figure it out. And, anytime that, there was something fearful, something new to learn. Monique always says to me, if we learn this, we will never have dementia. Our neurons are just powering up.
You're fusing new pathways, just like constantly.
Yes, we are creating new pathways. Our axons are forming.
Nice. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That is great. Yeah. Wow. No, that is fantastic. And so basically, once you have a why, which sounds like you have a very strong why, and once you have passion, which sounds like you both have great passion for this cause, then, you may be fearful, but you can still do it. So that is an amazing, amazing pearl for the audience, because there are many times that a lot of people who are listening to this may be at a point where they want to start something, but they're just not sure, or they're afraid to get started, or they think that, they compare themselves to people who've been in it for quite a long time, and they're just getting started. They're a little bit trepidatious about that. But you have both proven that no matter what, as long as you agree that you're in this for the long haul, then you can make it happen. You can figure out how to do things. You can find help for things that you need, and you can just make it happen. So thank you. Thank you for being an inspiration. That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
And then, so we talked all about this program. We talked all about how amazing it is. So now we have to let the audience know, where can they learn more about this? How can they sign up their teens for this, etc.?
So we are at teenunme.com, and I just want to highlight some of our features on Teenunme.
Yeah,
we have this
too.
Yes, it's called Teenunme, T-E-E-N-U, just the letter U, N, and it's N, and then me.com, teenunme.com. One feature that we have is the GPA tracker. You know, a lot of the times you're like, okay, how hard do I need to study for this upcoming exam in order to keep my GPA up? So it helps you to calculate your future courses. We have a fantastic factor that really sets us apart. And the fantastic factor is where you can input what makes you different than everybody else. And, you know, when I was in high school, you know, I was a poor kid going to high school, and I needed to ride the bus back to home. My parents couldn't come to school and get me for, you know, track and field or anything. And what made me different, or what I did, is I actually just had to babysit, but that taught me something that gave me a lot of life lessons. So you can even put in babysitting, because that is important too. There are different opportunities on Teenunme. There are volunteering opportunities all over the world. There are enrichment programs and scholarships that we highlight. Our academic section helps you to apply to college, and there are also test prep resources on that. And it's fun, it's interactive, there are blogs, and we just want to make teens the best that they can be. So it's teenunme.com. Go ahead, Monique.
So if the parents go to the website, you can also register your email, and we can reach out to you directly if you would like to discuss how, if you're interested in the program, the other program that we have, which is the Vision program, that really has been so pivotal in so many the lives of so many kids. Just getting them the chance to be able to look at life from their age, at their age, but to be able to project what they want in the future. And it really is amazing how you start seeing them make good choices based on these things. I wanted to also highlight the fantastic factor, part of the website. In our fantastic factor, we encourage students to address every category in 5 categories that will make them stand out from other students who are applying for university. So you probably remember this lawsuit that happened a few years ago, where some people, a group of people, sued Harvard, saying that they were being discriminated against because their students were showing up. There were students who were showing up with perfect grades and perfect scores, and they weren't necessarily getting in. And the school was basically saying, well, we don't see necessarily the uniqueness of this individual. And so what this website basically does is help young people find their it factor. We help them find their it factor so that when they show up with their good grades and their good scores, they also have that part of them that they've developed, that they've nurtured, that they have explored, that makes them stand out from the crowd. And also, they also are able to show that they have engaged with their community and made an impact on their community or in some way.
Wow. Yeah, no, that makes sense. That's great. And this is through like the volunteering and those kinds of contributions.
Volunteering, or doing things like for instance, I would say like one of my daughters right now is currently helping a girl who works for us build a YouTube channel because the girl cooks really well, and she's helping her to build a YouTube channel. So she's doing all her filming and editing, even though this is not a project that is out in the community. She's helping this individual to essentially build a possibility for her future. And so those are the kinds of things that we kind of push students towards. Yes, it may not be that you can go out and start a nonprofit organization, but you can impact someone's life. You can maybe you are a really excellent basketball player, and you can take some fifth graders out and help them and teach them how to shoot and teach them how to have something to do other than be on a device all day.
Right. No, that's fantastic. That's great. Wow.
The fantastic
wow.
factor.
Yes, the fantastic factor. I didn't even know. You guys didn't even tell me to say that.
The fantastic factor.
Look at how that worked. That worked out so well. Wow. No, absolutely great. And so now, now that everybody heard the story, heard how you guys got there, and we've dug into a little bit of the fear surrounding it and how you dealt with that. We also know how to get in contact with you through the website, and we know all the programs that you're offering. So now we're at that point where we need to do our tradition on the show, which is fill in the blanks. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Okay. All right. So the first one is, if I am fearless, I will.
Try anything.
Try anything. Okay. And then the next one is, to me, fearless freedom means.
Fearless freedom means becoming your own advocate.
Love it. And last but not least, my battle cry is.
Wow.
You know what? I'm going to answer this with a little story.
Okay.
I was born in a little village, in a small little village in Sudan, and people from Sudan hadn't even heard of this village. And even through that village, my parents have always been an advocate of education for me. And Africa is this big area full of animals. And I'm going to say my battle cry is the cry of an African lion, because that African lion knows how to get things done and endure and persevere.
Awesome. That's awesome.
All right.
Cool.
It was long, but we got there.
No. Hey, that works. That works really well. Works well.
I like the saying, you don't fail until you stop trying. That's my battle cry.
Yes.
There's
so much truth to that.
You fail the day you stop trying. Yeah.
A lot of truth to that. No lies detected. No lies. Fantastic. There you go. I used it again. Dropping your word. And so
fantastic factor.
Fantastic factor. So, thank you so much for being on the show all the way from the Middle East. I mean, absolutely fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so thank you for taking time out and being on here. And hoping that lots and lots of people are going to be checking out your website and getting their teens involved.
Well, what I'd like to offer, offer to anyone who listens to your show and comes to our website and reaches out to us, that you can reach out to us at info@Teenunme, and they need to mention that they heard us from you. I am going to offer the opportunity for their team to do a trial of our vision worksheet. We have a process that we go through, that we take the students through, where they will write their vision, and we will have them revise and kind of critique it. And so until they create a picture for their future. And so any student who actually comes to us from your show, we will do that exercise with them for free.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That is great. Definitely.
So I can send you the email that they can, and maybe you can send it out to, I don't know how you send it out to your people, but yeah.
Okay,
it's
yeah.
info@teenunme.com.
I can definitely include that in the show notes. And so that would be great, because then, they heard you say it, and then they'll also have it on the show notes itself. So absolutely, we will be sure to share that. That's fantastic.
Okay.
All right. And so